Today I'm going to show you how to make this semi-homemade banana bread. This is a cake mix banana bread and is made with only 4 ingredients. You won't believe how flavorful and moist this banana bread is. You've got to give this one a try. To make this really simple 4-ingredient banana bread, all you need is a yellow cake mix, a half a cup of butter or oil, 2 eggs, and 2 or 3 bananas. You want about 1.5 cups of really ripe mashed bananas. This is such an easy and such a good banana bread recipe. To get started on this really easy banana bread, all we need is a couple bananas. You're gonna start with about 2 or 3 bananas. You want this to be about 1.5 cups of mashed bananas. Now, normally 1 banana is about 1/2 cup. Mine are kind of large today, so I think that 2 large bananas will work just fine for this. So I'm just putting them into my mixing bowl, and what I like to do to mash my bananas is use my pastry blender. I really like to use this. This makes it really easy just to mash up my bananas really well. Or you can use a potato masher, anything you want to use, just get them nice and mashed. All right, I just spent about a minute mashing up this banana really well, and I also measured it out. This is 1.5 cups of mashed bananas, exactly what I want. Now, it's time to add the other 3 ingredients. I'm gonna add 2 large eggs. Let's put them right on in there. And I'm gonna use 1 stick or 1/2 cup of melted butter. I just melted this in my cast iron melting pot on the stove top. So I'm using 1/2 cup of butter, but you can also use 1/2 cup of oil. That works great in this really easy banana bread recipe too. Now after that, I'm gonna give this a little mix just to kind of get these wet ingredients incorporated before I add our dry ingredient. You can use any brand that you want. This is a Betty Crocker Super Moist, and this is a 3.25 ounce box of yellow cake mix. I'm just gonna use that whole thing. Now you could probably use a spice cake mix. That would probably be really good in this banana bread. I'm sure you could use a white cake mix too. Maybe even a chocolate cake mix. That would probably be pretty good too. Okay, now that we have the cake mix in there, I'm just gonna mix this until combined. You don't wanna overmix this batter. You definitely don't want kind of a tough banana bread. So just mix it until just combined. It can have some lumps, that's totally fine. Now this is just the very basic recipe. 4 ingredients, that's all you need. This yellow cake mix has so much flavor. It has the vanilla, it has our leavening agents, and that's why we don't need to add any baking powder, baking soda. You don't need to add any salt to this recipe. This takes care of all of that. So this banana bread is just a really good cake mix hack recipe. Okay, that looks absolutely perfect. Let me grab my loaf pan. This is the loaf pan I'm going to use to bake this really simple banana bread. This is an 8.5 inch by 4.5 inch cast iron loaf pan. I love my cast iron loaf pans. These are one of my very favorite things that I own. I love that they bake everything so evenly. There's none of those coatings or chemicals to get into our foods, so I love this. Now, whatever kind of loaf pan you're going to use, make sure you oil it up or grease it up really well. Or another option is you can use a loaf pan liner. Whenever I make quick breads, I really like to use these loaf pan liners. This is like a big cupcake liner. So it's great, makes cleanup so easy, so fast. Okay, our batter is all ready to go into our loaf pan. Now, before you get started on your recipe, go ahead and get your oven preheated to 350 degrees. I forgot to do that, so I'm gonna be waiting for my oven to preheat. This is such a fast, easy recipe to make. Now I have to wait on my oven, but that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna pour all of this batter into this loaf pan. This makes 1 loaf. Oh, it smells so good. I wish that y'all could smell this. This is a really great recipe to use a cake mix in because it just gives it so much flavor. All right, once you have that in there, you want to just kind of smooth it out a little bit. And that looks great. This is ready to go into the oven already. I have to wait a minute because I didn't get mine preheated, but once it's preheated, I'm going to throw this into the oven. I'm going to let it bake at 350 degrees for 55 to 60 minutes. Now you're going to have to watch yours. I would start checking it at about 50 minutes just because everybody's oven is so different. You don't want it to burn, but you definitely need to make sure that it's baked all the way through. So once you get it out, do the toothpick test and be sure that it's ready. But mine's gonna take about 55 to 60 minutes, and I will show this to you when it's all baked and beautiful. My cake mix banana bread, made with only 4 ingredients, is fresh out of the oven. I let it bake at 350 degrees for 55 minutes. I did the toothpick test, it came out clean, so I knew that it was ready. I turned it out of the loaf pan immediately, and now I've let it sit for about 10 minutes, and now I'm ready to slice into this banana bread. So let's check out the inside. It baked to such a beautiful golden color. I mean, it just looks really good. Oh, it's steaming, it's still really warm. Look at that. Now I should probably let it cool off a little bit better. You're gonna get a better crumble, a better texture inside, but who can resist warm banana bread? Oh, that looks great. Now, this is the really simple 4-ingredient base recipe. You can get a little bit creative, a little bit festive. If you wanna add maybe a cup of chocolate chips, some walnuts, some pecans, some raisins, some cranberries. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can add so much to this really easy banana bread and dress it up. All right, doesn't that look great? Okay, I'm gonna take a little bite. I gotta taste test this. It is really good. Now, I make a lot of banana bread. Whenever I have ripe bananas, I make a banana bread from scratch. But I have to tell you, this semi-homemade banana bread that uses a cake mix, I think it has more flavor than those ones that I make from scratch. This one is fantastic. Now, if I had added some walnuts or pecans or chocolate chips, that would make it even better. This has such a good vanilla flavor. It has that really good vanilla cake mix flavor. Oh, I just think it's great. So when you need something fast, this is a great recipe to try. I'm gonna leave the recipe for you down in the description. There'll be a printable recipe, so be sure to print that out. I'll also leave you this recipe in grams if you like to bake better that way. I like to keep all of my baked goods, including this banana bread, in beeswax bread bags. It's a great way to keep your breads fresh without the use of plastic bags. These are handmade 11 by 17, and they'll be on my website, robinonthefarm.com. You can also find the printable recipe there. Thanks so much for being here with me on Robin on the Farm. I'll see y'all next time.
Robin's in the kitchen, dough beneath her hands, wheat from the fields and eggs from her land. Sunlight through the window, a warm golden glow. She's working hard to make that dough. With flour on her apron, loving each need, ground wheat fresh, sowing her seed. The smell of fresh bread rises in the air. Simple life without a care. In Robin's kitchen, dreams come alive, each loaf.